Here's a psychology truth most people aren't ready for. Your life doesn't feel heavy because you're doing too little. It feels heavy because you're carrying too much that doesn't belong to you anymore. Too many habits, too many people, too much noise. And what's dangerous is that your brain mistakes this overload for normal. So let me ask you something uncomfortable. What if the real upgrade in your life doesn't come from adding anything, but from removing what's quietly draining you every day? Think about this for a second. How many things are demanding your attention right now that don't actually move your life forward? Conversations you replay in your head, obligations you said yes to out of guilt, distractions disguised as productivity. Your mindset, your mental focus, even your discipline are constantly under attack, not by failure, but by excess. And the worst part, most people don't notice it until burnout forces the lesson. In the next few minutes, you'll see what happened when I removed 10 specific things for 30 days, not to become extreme, but to regain clarity, control, and direction. One of them changed how I think permanently. And if you're serious about self-development, productivity, and learning how to live better, this might be the mental reset you didn't know you needed. Stay with me, because what you remove next could quietly decide the direction of your life. At some point, you start noticing something subtle but exhausting. Some people don't add weight to your life, they remove it. Not loudly, quietly. They show up only when they need something, drain your mental focus, and disappear when you need space or support. And the tricky part, your brain tries to justify it because cutting emotional ties feels uncomfortable. But self-development begins the moment you realize that peace is a form of productivity. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's discipline in disguise. Here's the uncomfortable life lesson most people avoid. People who disrespect your boundaries don't hate you, they benefit from your lack of them. When you start saying, "I can't today," or "that doesn't work for me," they react not because you're wrong, but because the old version of you was more convenient. So the smartest move isn't confrontation or drama. It's distance, silent distance, less explanation, less access. Stay quiet, stay sharp, stay in progress. And this naturally connects to another silent killer of personal growth, the "I'll do it later" mindset. Your brain loves postponement because it feels safe. Waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect timing, the perfect plan, that's just fear wearing a productivity costume. Psychology shows that action creates clarity, not the other way around. One imperfect move today beats a flawless plan tomorrow that never happens. Momentum is built through motion, not intention. Think about it practically. If you want better time management, don't redesign your entire week. Block 20 focused minutes today and protect them like an appointment. If you want to train your mindset, don't wait for motivation. Read 10 pages of a book like Atomic Habits or Deep Work and stop there. Small actions retrain the brain faster than big promises. And once you stop delaying action, you'll notice something else begging to be removed next: the exhausting need to explain yourself to everyone.
I'm so drained from all these explanations. Please, no more. I can't handle it.
There's a quiet habit that slowly erodes confidence and kills mental focus: explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. When you justify every decision, your brain learns a dangerous lesson: that your choices need external approval to be valid. And that's a productivity leak most people never notice. Discipline isn't just about what you do with your time. It's about who gets access to your reasons. Mature personal growth means choosing silence over unnecessary explanations. Here's the reality most people learn late. Not everyone deserves context. Some people only want details so they can judge, compare, or project their own fears onto your path. When your mindset is clear, you save explanations for those who truly matter: mentors, partners, or people building alongside you. Everyone else gets a simple answer, or none at all.
I choose to focus on our conversation here. The crowd is just noise. This is what matters.
This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect, and it sharpens your time management more than any planner ever could. And once you stop explaining yourself, something else becomes impossible to ignore: comparison. Social media turns other people's highlight reels into silent benchmarks for your real life. Your brain forgets that most online success is edited, filtered, and carefully staged. Comparing your behind the scenes with someone else's final cut is one of the fastest ways to sabotage self development and drain motivation. If it triggers anxiety or doubt, it's not inspiration, it's noise. The fix is practical and surprisingly effective. Mute accounts that make you feel behind. Unfollow without guilt. Replace scrolling time with something grounding, a short walk, a journal entry, or 5 pages of man's search for meaning. Your life lessons aren't found in endless comparison. They're built through consistent, quiet progress. And when comparison fades, another pattern shows up clearly: the victim mindset that keeps people stuck without realizing it. There's a story the brain loves to tell when life feels heavy. Nothing ever works out for me. And at first, it feels honest, even comforting. But psychology shows that the victim mindset is one of the most seductive comfort zones there is. It removes responsibility, lowers expectations, and quietly kills personal growth. When you repeat the same painful narrative long enough, your mindset stops looking for solutions and starts collecting excuses. And that's where progress stalls.
I can do this.
Here's the hard truth most people avoid: your brain believes the stories you tell it, especially the negative ones. Every time you replay the same complaint, you reinforce a mental identity built around limitation. Discipline begins when you interrupt that loop, not with fake positivity, but with ownership. You don't rewrite your life by denying pain. You rewrite it by asking a different question:
What can I control?
what part of this can I control right now? That single shift restores mental focus instantly. And once you step out of the victim role, something else loses its grip: the need to win every argument. Most discussions don't lead to truth, they lead to ego relief. Your brain wants to feel right more than it wants peace. But productivity, clarity, and emotional intelligence grow when you realize that not every opinion deserves a response. Let people be wrong. Let them misunderstand you. Your nervous system will thank you for it. Try this in real life. The next time a conversation starts heating up, pause instead of proving your point. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week? If not, disengage. That energy is better invested in learning, training, or thinking clearly. Read something challenging like "The Obstacle is the Way," or spend that time planning one meaningful action for tomorrow. And when unnecessary conflict fades, another source of chaos becomes impossible to ignore: the clutter around you. Most people think clutter is just a messy room. Psychology says otherwise. Clutter is anything that constantly competes for your attention without giving value back. Open tabs, unread notifications, half-finished tasks living rent-free in your head. All of that fragments mental focus and quietly destroys productivity. Your brain wasn't designed to juggle chaos, it was designed to prioritize. And when everything feels important, nothing really is. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. Every unfinished item creates a low-grade stress signal. Not enough to panic, just enough to drain energy. Over time, that noise becomes your baseline. That's why people feel tired even on easy days. Clearing clutter isn't aesthetic, it's neurological. When you remove excess, your mindset shifts from reactive to intentional. And intentional living is one of the fastest paths to self-development. Make it practical. Close every browser tab except one. Turn off non-essential notifications for 24 hours. Clear your desk until only the tools you actually use remain. Digitally, try a Sunday reset. Inbox to 0, task list trimmed to 3 priorities, calendar reviewed. Physically, even a 10-minute clean creates momentum. Order outside creates order inside, and suddenly, time management feels lighter, not forced. What's interesting is this: once clutter disappears, urgency shows up everywhere. You start noticing how often people label things as urgent just to bypass boundaries. And that realization opens the door to the next silent drain on your focus: emergencies that aren't real but still control your day. Your brain is wired to react fast. That's useful when there's real danger, not when every notification pretends to be one. Most urgent messages aren't emergencies, they're expectations disguised as importance. And when you respond instantly to everything, you train people and your own nervous system to believe your attention is always available. That's how mental focus gets hijacked and productivity slowly collapses. Here's the insight most people miss: urgency is often a social construct, not a reality. Someone else's lack of planning doesn't automatically become your responsibility. High performers understand this intuitively. They don't ignore people, they control timing. They respond on their terms. That's not cold, that's discipline. And discipline is one of the core skills behind sustainable personal growth. Try this experiment. Delay non critical replies by 1 hour. Then, 2. Notice what happens. Most emergencies resolve themselves without your intervention. The world doesn't collapse, relationships survive. What changes is your internal state. Less anxiety, more clarity, better time management. That reclaimed space can go into a focused work block, a workout, or 10 pages of something grounding like essentialism. When you stop reacting to false urgency, silence becomes less uncomfortable. And in that silence, another pattern surfaces, the habit of overthinking. Because once the noise fades, the mind either sharpens or spirals, and that's the next thing that needs to be removed. Overthinking feels productive, but it's not. It's fear wearing a clever disguise. The mind keeps looping, analyzing every possible outcome, not to find the best decision, but to avoid responsibility for choosing one. Psychology shows that the brain prefers endless simulation over decisive action because action creates consequences, and consequences feel risky. That's how mental focus gets trapped in planning mode, while life quietly moves on. Here's the paradox most people miss. The more you think, the less clarity you gain. Clarity doesn't come from stacking thoughts, it comes from committing to movement. High performers don't wait to feel certain, they decide fast and adjust later. That's discipline in its purest form. Your mindset strengthens every time you prove to yourself that indecision isn't safer than action. Make this practical. Practice fast decisions in low-risk areas. Choose what to wear without debate. Pick a workout without over-researching. Decide your top task for the day in under 60 seconds. This trains the brain to trust itself again. And once trust returns, anxiety drops, productivity rises. Suddenly, time management feels less like pressure and more like flow. What's interesting is that overthinking often hides something deeper, the fear of disappointing others. Because once you decide quickly, you also risk saying no. And that leads directly into the next silent habit that drains your energy more than you realize: trying to please everyone. Trying to please everyone
Yes.
feels kind,
Yes. Yes.
mature,
Yes.
even
Yes.
necessary. But psychology paints a different picture. People pleasing isn't generosity, it's fear of rejection disguised as politeness. Every unnecessary yes costs you time, energy, and mental focus. And over time, your brain learns that other people's comfort matters more than your own progress. That's not self development, that's self erasure. Here's the uncomfortable truth: saying yes when you want to say no trains resentment. You don't feel it immediately, it builds quietly. And resentment is a productivity killer. High performers understand that discipline isn't about doing more for others, it's about protecting the few commitments that actually move life forward. Your peace is not negotiable, and your boundaries are not rude, they're instructions. Start small. Say no without a speech. No long explanations, no emotional justifications. A simple, I can't commit to that right now, is enough. Some people will call you selfish. Let them. That reaction tells you everything you need to know. Real personal growth often feels lonely before it feels powerful. And once you reclaim that space, your mindset shifts from approval seeking to direction driven. When you stop trying to be liked by everyone, something rare happens: freedom. Decisions get clearer, time management improves, energy returns, and you finally have room to invest in what actually matters: your skills, your health, your learning. This is the quiet foundation behind loud success. Stay quiet, stay sharp, stay in progress. And now, with everything removed, it's time to confront what remains. At this point, the message should be clear. Clarity isn't found by doing more, it's found by removing what no longer serves you. Awareness alone won't change your life. Knowing these patterns without acting on them only creates frustration. So here's the real question: which one are you going to remove today? One person, one habit, one distraction, one unnecessary yes. Because self development doesn't happen in big emotional moments. It happens through small, disciplined decisions repeated when no one's watching. Take a moment and be honest with yourself. What's been quietly stealing your mental focus? What keeps pulling you out of alignment with the life you say you want? Productivity, mindset, and personal growth aren't built by motivation. They're built by subtraction. Less noise, fewer excuses, clearer priorities. And when you protect your time and energy, something powerful happens. Your life starts responding differently. Stay quiet, stay sharp, stay in progress. And before you go, understand this. Removing what drains you is only half the work. The other half is facing what's left when there's no one to blame and no distractions to hide behind. That's exactly why you need to watch the next video on your screen. The pain of becoming yourself, the moment you realize no one is coming to save you. Because once you clear the noise, that realization hits harder, and it's the moment real change actually begins. If this video helped you see your life more clearly, subscribe to Mind in Progress and turn on notifications. We're here to upgrade your mind, one idea